Welcome to the YouTube channel of mprugs.com. My name is Mike. I'm the moderator in the series of videos that is all about Persian rugs and carpets from around the world. And in this video, I want to show you a couple of rare pictorial tree-of-life designs that you really don't find nowadays in the newer rugs. And these are also two very unique individual pieces that we were fortunate enough to buy from a private collector. Here you have a rare semi-antique Isfahan, silk foundation Isfahan piece. This is the type of rug that the colors and everything, you cannot find these in the newer rugs. This piece right here was made around the 1950s. It was made for collector. The same with this rare Nain Chahala. This Chahala, which basically Chaha means Farsi for. It was such a rare piece. These were made literally for a collector, and basically we were fortunate enough to be able to purchase them from the family who inherited the pieces and really are not into Persian rugs. And this is something that happens quite a bit. The same thing with like the Turkish, the Hereke rugs. They used to be a lot more expensive, but the younger folks, oftentimes they inherit the rugs and they really are not into them, so they make them available. And being that we specialize in the high-end types of Persian rugs, we're oftentimes contacted by individuals or by businesses when they know that, since they know that we are really into these types of rugs. And so here we have a couple of pieces, and when I get behind the camera, I'm going to show you some of the features, but I wanted to take this video because here you have two rare tree-of-life pictorial designs. And in some of the other videos, I feature mostly new types of Persian rugs, but I thought I'd show you what the pictorial pieces sometimes over the decades, how they change, how they evolve. And so here we have a beautiful, gorgeous Nain. Like I said, this is a Chahala, this is a Fola Nain rug. Here we have from the weaver, he, as is common in the Isfahan rugs, they put the name, the Sabarian, Isfahan, Iran. You see the signature at the top, but you're not buying, this is not a piece where you would be buying it for the name of the weaver. This is just tradition that they will, in the older Isfahans, the fine pieces, they typically will have the designer's name, just like you do with the Serafians. But what I wanted to do was, I wanted to feature both of these rugs together, because even though one is an Isfahan and one is a Nain, they are actually distant relatives of each other. What a lot of people are not aware of is the fact that Nain, up until World War II, right about 1950, it was mainly known for being a wool production area. A lot of the weavers that worked in Isfahan, their families are actually from Nain. Nain was a small town, it's nearby Isfahan, not too far away. And it wasn't really until after the war that, after World War II, that Nain started to become known also as a rug production area. But you will notice, when you look at Nain rugs and Isfahan rugs, they share a lot in common. The colors, the designs, the way the rugs are sometimes also made, very similar. And in this case, even though you have two very unique pieces, The designs are such that you will notice that, for example, when I get behind the camera, I'm going to show you the pattern of the flowers, as well as look at the animals. When you get behind the camera, and I'm going to focus in on the animals, especially like the birds, you will notice there is a distinct similarity that you will not find if I were to, for example, compare this Isfahan rug with an older Tabriz rug. There is a distinct difference between Isfahan's, Nain's, Tabriz, Qom, the main city rugs, where you find a lot of the high quality types of Persian rugs. But here you have two pieces, both of them very fine in their own rights, but even though they are distinct different designs, you will still notice that this is clearly pictorial. It is what we call the tree of life, but there's two different versions of it. But so I'm going to get behind the camera again. I have featured the Nain rug on its own because this is such a unique piece. But I thought I'd also introduce you to this Isfahan piece because, again, for those of you that are into Persian rugs, you're seeing an Isfahan that has colors, that has a design that is just really unique, and it's beautiful. I mean, how well maintained it is. Being that both of these rugs were clearly hung on walls, they were never just readily walked on. So they're really, it's almost like new condition, even though these are older pieces. Absolutely beautiful. Like I said, I featured the Nain, but the Isfahan here definitely deserves recognition. And I'm also going to be featuring links to the individual rug pages on our website. And the main thing is, as I do with all of the videos, it's a channel that is really for people that are passionate about Persian rugs. I get a lot of my clients also, like I said, I've been doing this for nearly 25 years now, and I've loved having my website. I love putting information on there. And the purpose of the links is not so much that I'm trying to get you to buy the rugs, but if you are into Persian rugs, you're passionate about them, you want to see close-up pictures of any of the rugs, you will find them. And like I said, in this case right here, I'm going to put the description, I'm going to put the links to both of the rug pages. The good news about these two pieces is that they're priced with what I call within reason. If you look at individual retailers, being that these are very rare, very unique pieces, a lot of the dealers, they will also charge accordingly. Being that we're wholesalers, I mean, this is what we do for a living. We typically supply rug stores. I have my own website, and where I have my private clients throughout the world. But I thought I'm going to put the links there, so if you want to see the pictures, you can see them. So now I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to get behind the camera, I'm going to grab it, then I'm going to show you some of the features. So I'm going to see you again here in just a little bit. So here I'm back again as always from behind the camera, and I'm going to get things started with the Isfahan piece. Since the Nain rug that you see to your left, that one was actually featured in one of its own. This one I featured in its own video. But this Isfahan, this is I think the first time that I'm featuring this piece, and I'm just going to go top to bottom here. As you can see, it's a really nice size. In the old days, this is the kind of rug that was made specifically to be hung on walls. In this case right here, you're looking at a rug that is roughly 2 meters long by 1.5 meters. It's actually a little bit narrow, and this is typical for Isfahan rugs. I think it's like 2 meters by 1.4 meter. So roughly 6.5 feet by 4.5 feet for my American clients, but you can see by the colors. I'm just going to, instead of zooming in and out, I'm just going to take my camera here and I'm just going to just literally go from one side to another, and you can see how the colors change. You can see the silk. Again, this is a very traditional Isfahan silk foundation. Then you have the signature of the, and this is typical for Persian rugs. I guess I should be telling you that the signature is the weaver. It's actually not. It's a designer, Sabarian. And this is Isfahan, Iran. This is very traditional. This is how the signatures are typically done in high-end Isfahan rugs. And with high-end, you know, we're talking Nain rugs. We're talking an Isfahan rug, silk foundation. You can easily have anywhere between 500 to 900 knots per square inch. Again, if you look at the link below the video, you can see the link to the page, and it has all of the details as far as the quality and everything. But I wanted to show you with this Isfahan rug. When you look at, this is a very classic, it's a variation of the tree of, what we call a tree of life design. And what that means is you have plants and you typically have animals. Now, in this particular case right here, you have what looks like trees, and you have flowers, and then you have a lot of birds, obviously, and you can see along the border here as well. I'm just going to hold the camera around. You have birds, and then it looks like you have what is rabbits, and this is very, very classic. This is very traditional. In fact, you can even see animals going all the way out to the very edge. This is typical what you would expect to see as far as a pictorial tree of life, where you have flowers and you have plants and then you have animals. So that is the Isfahan rug. Now, when you look over here on the Nain rug, very similar. Although this Nain rug is, you notice it's extremely busy. But if you just focus on one area and you look long enough, you are going to see all of a sudden birds. You will see animals. I'm just going to point them out to you because as you zoom out, if you step back, you notice then they becomes much harder to see. And the same thing in the borders. So both of these are referred to as tree of life designs. What is nice about, and I'm just going to point out again, here you have birds in the design in the borders of the Nain rug. And remember, I mentioned to you earlier, like I said, this Nain rug is actually being featured in its own video. This is an extremely fine, what is known as Chahalla, 4-law piece. But what is really, what a lot of people don't really know about the pictorial design is that on a lot of these rugs, I want you to take a look at the Nain for a second and take a look at the Isfahan. Now, similar to the Turkish Hereke rugs, and this is very classic in most types of pictorial, especially with a tree of life. If you were to fold the rug, you will notice there is the left side and the right side are mirror images of each other. The same with the Nain. Notice you have the stream and the animals on the right side. Notice the stream and animals on the left. Notice what it looks like, some sort of boar. Well, it's an animal. I think we can agree on that. But look at the direction, look at the body and which direction it's facing. Then look over here on the right. Notice how mirror reflection. This is very traditional in pictorial tree of life designs. Sometimes you have pictorials where it's just a unique piece, where the left side and the right side, let's say, you would have birds flying here and you would have something else happening here. But in a lot of the pictorial, especially in the older pieces, you will have where the left side is a mirror copy of the right side. And here you have two beautiful examples of what I call still affordable art. These are rugs that some dealers will sell well into the 5 digits. To me, that's ridiculous, but to each their own. You basically, as a seller, you can ask for whatever price you want. But being that most of our clients are retail businesses, we wouldn't be in business if we charged that much. But these chahala are obviously very fine pieces. This is something that is absolutely perfect to be hung on walls. I mean, this is why the horizontal pieces, the Nain ones, are made like this. But it's also very rare. It is very hard to find in this type of... They just don't make a lot of these, the horizontal ones, because most of these are designed to be hung on walls. And most people, when they buy rugs, they're not thinking about walls. So because of supply and demand, where there is less demand, there is less supply. But as is typical in the chahala pieces, you have a lot of silk, just an absolute beautiful piece. Lamb wool, of course. That is the wool that is used to make both of these rugs, and the same thing with the Isfahan. There's lots of silk and everything. So, but I wanted to focus on the design's similarities. As far as here, you have two rugs that were both what we would call almost semi-antique, but they were made in two areas of Iran that are close to each other. And so you will see the similarities, and yet each of them has such a unique design. They're just such unique pieces that I thought it would be a shame if I don't share it with those of you that are into these types of Persian rugs. So here are two rare pieces. I hope you liked the video. As always, feel free to subscribe to our channel if you're into Persian rugs. For more information about them, the link is at the bottom underneath the video in our description. So I'm wishing you well as always, and I look forward to coming back to you guys with many more videos to come. Take care. Best wishes. Bye-bye.